We're almost halfway through the year, so I wanted to take a few minutes today to talk about the biggest risk for your financial success. Do you already know what it is? Are you thinking maybe it's who's in the White House, or thinking about, things going on overseas, or maybe it's, the different circumstances of your job or what your employer is doing, or maybe you have customers and clients that you're kind of frustrated with or trying to figure out what's the best way to pivot your business. Well, none of that is the answer. So this might be a shock to you, and I want to prepare you for it. The real biggest risk to your personal financial success is ultimately you. And that's the same for me. The biggest risk to my personal financial success, my family success, is me. Now, before you get upset and turn me off, stick with me for a couple quick minutes. What I mean by this is the biggest risk for our personal success in achieving our long-term goals and priorities is the specific actions we choose to take or don't take to lead us towards a better future down the road. Why do we resist healthy, good, productive actions with our financial life that could lead us to the prosperity we seek? Ultimately, from my years of experience working as a financial planner and all the studying and research and conversations I've had over the past 7 years, the thing that I've seen being the most impactful with this is ultimately fear. That's fear of the unknown, fear of not understanding what it takes to be successful, fear of not understanding how investing works or the tax codes or how your assets will pass when you pass away, things like that. But ultimately, the biggest factor is the decisions we make on a daily basis that can either take us one step closer or take us 10 steps further from the goals we're trying to accomplish. So I wanted to take a few quick minutes here again and bring that up as a healthy way for us to talk about it and really break down again a reminder of what it does take to be successful. Because building wealth in today's day and age really is simple, but it's not easy. And the reason why it's not easy is because of the fear, because of the other circumstances and impacts and influences we have in life. But let's talk about the two simple principles that all it takes to be wealthy in today's day and age. First and foremost, we need to have margin in our life. Margin, for the most part, with our financial life, is living on less than we make. That means if you make $10,000 a month, you bring that in, you shouldn't be spending $12,000 a month, right? If you make $3,000 a month, don't spend $4,000 a month. It's really simple. And I know it's not the easiest thing in the world because there's other factors that come into play. There's debt we're trying to get out of, there's unexpected bills and expenses. Maybe our emergency fund isn't the way we want it to be. But these are all things that should be an indicator to work on that process or work on progress towards those goals so we can ultimately live on less than we make today, so we can do number two, which is investing in owning and buying appreciating assets. We have to buy these appreciating assets and then own them for a really, really long time to let our wealth grow. Now, again, that's really, really simple for me to say. As a financial planner, someone who helps people make important, critical financial decisions every single day. But I want to use this as an encouragement for you because, like I said, it's not easy to do this every single day. And the reason why is because of the outside circumstances, because of the behavioral element of how we manage money and how we ultimately give ourselves little passes here and there, right? I've been accustomed to it myself as, I'm at the coffee shop meeting someone, I might as well get that $7 latte, right? We all do it with the special, caveats or treats we give ourselves because we think that in the moment, making the short, easy decision to make us feel better is going to give us more satisfaction than the long-term trade-off of doing what it takes to truly be successful. So with that said, I've been working with clients for many, many years. And as we're thinking about being halfway through this year already, there's a few important things we need to be focused on, especially as we lead into the later part of this year. We have an election coming up, all these things that are coming down the pipe that I want to encourage you with. And the first and foremost is if we haven't gotten our budget together, if we're still working on paying off debt, let's really hammer that for the next 3 months. You can do anything you set your mind to for the next 90 days, and I guarantee you will see some kind of progress if you really commit and stick to your personal goals and priorities over the next 90 days. The second thing is, if we're already out of debt and we're on our investing journey and we're trying to grow our wealth and build our wealth, let's make sure we have our assets working the best possible for us that they can be. If you're sitting on a lot of cash on the sideline, now is the time to start thinking about getting that money invested. I know I'm accustomed to it myself, making 4.5%, 5% sitting in a savings account where our money is safe and secure and ideally guaranteed right now. That seems like a really, really good deal. But don't forget about the fact that a lot of people had an unwelcome surprise this tax season when you had this money making passive interest in your savings account, but then you got taxed on it at whatever your marginal tax rate is. Maybe you have a couple $100,000 sitting in your savings account and you made an additional $10,000 or $12,000 last year in interest. Well, if you're at a 24% tax bracket, that means you paid, almost $3,000 in taxes for having that money growing. What you could do is start thinking about how we can actually improve our long-term abilities, our long-term wealth building by putting some of that cash to use and making sure that you're not just sitting too conservatively on the sidelines, but getting your money working for you for the long-term goals and priorities you have. Third thing is, if you're actually working on that process of sustaining your wealth, maybe you're in retirement today, you're close to retirement, we're trying to figure out how to best optimize what our income is going to look like, what our estate plan is going to look like, things like that. The best step you can take right now is to keep doing the first things. Keep making sure that you're living on less than you make. Keep putting money into buying and owning appreciating assets for the future. We're going to release our podcast this month on the 8 most common mistakes we see retirees or new retirees and pre-retirees make leading into that retirement transition. I encourage you to take a listen to that on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you prefer to consume that, and listen to the important factors of what we're seeing or what we have seen over the past few years that lead to a lot of retirees to ultimately sideline or take their success off track where they could have stayed on track and truly have a good sustainable wealth process through the remainder of their lives. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I'm looking for content, looking for ideas that we can share with you guys. I want to make sure we're providing encouraging and helpful information. So if you have any specific questions or thoughts of things you want to hear about, please send them over to me. We're looking at a lot of things like giving some more education around investing, education around taxes, education around insurance, estate planning, those kind of factors. But I want to hear from you. So if there's anything specific, burning in your mind, let us know. We'll turn that into a podcast episode, turn into one of these monthly update videos, and I look forward to hearing your feedback. Thanks so much.